Hi everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel and to the sixth video in my series for One Book July 2021. My project for this year's One Book July is my search for a new planner. If you have watched the previous 5 videos, you will see on those videos how I have arrived at the A5 Slim as the paper size for the planner and why I chose the disc bound as the binding system for the planner. In this video, I'm going to show how I actually plan on this planner. This here is my daily planner pages. Let us flip to a spread that is empty so you won't be distracted. This is a day on two pages that I have designed myself. This current design of these day on two pages that you see here had a long time coming. What you see here now is the product of me constantly using the pages over the years and then tweaking the layout to make it appropriate for my changing needs. I have some videos on my channel about the evolution of my planner pages and I will share it in the description box. I also have two videos on my channel explaining how I plan. The first one was filmed in 2015 and the second one was in 2017. But this video now will be the updated video. As you can see, this is a day on two pages and the left page is for tracking, while the page on the right is for actual planning. Over here on the left page, I have the date header, which I have a heavier border around because it should be the most prominent element on this entire spread. It's also on the upper left corner because that's usually where our eyes go to when we flip a page, sort of like reading a book. And then the rest are boxes for tracking. These boxes beside the date header are where I write down the people who will be celebrating their birthdays and anniversaries and other life milestones. The way I greet them is I take a picture of this, frame it like so, and then post the picture on my social media and tag the people. I think it's nice, people like it, I like it. The rest of the boxes are for tracking. This large box right here is where I track my 24 hours of the day. The short lines that you can see are the markers for the 15 minutes for every hour. I do this because I have sleep problems and I have to track sleep. But I have to track sleep within the context of the other things I do within the day. The purpose of that is so that I will not lose track of my entire 24 hours because having sleep problems is deceptive. Sometimes we feel like we have been asleep all day and have accomplished nothing, but actually that's not true. We just feel that way because we are so groggy. Having this 24-hour tracking is very helpful to me so that I can see that my day has not been a total waste. Another reason why a 24-hour time tracking is essential, aside from having sleep problems, is that because I work in creatives and the nature of our work is such that we are so engrossed in what we do that we lose track of the time. But sometimes, well, always, it is important to track how many hours we have spent on a particular project so we know how much to bill a particular client if it's a per hour contract. And if it's not a per hour contract, it's essential that we have some historical data on how many hours we spent making or working or accomplishing a particular project so that on the next project we will have an idea on a due date that we can commit to. So that is always helpful. Okay, let me show you a real life example. Last July 17, I worked on making a notebook from 12:45 in the morning until 2 a.m. Then I went to sleep at 3 a.m. and woke up at 6. And then starting 6 until 8:45 in the morning, I worked on the revisions of my thesis proposal from the comments of my critic. For the rest of the day, I was not functioning much. I was asleep from 12:30 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. and then at 7 p.m. all the way until 12:15 a.m. That's already July 18, I was asleep. July 18, on the other hand, was quite the productive day. I was able to work for a longer time on making the notebooks, and I was able to focus more on the editing of my thesis proposal. I was alternately napping and working on the proposal, but I got it done. I consider that a productive day for someone with sleep problems and someone who also has to work on something that requires deep work like a thesis proposal. My critic and I were able to finish up everything. She was also staying up late with me, actually, so we were communicating via email and SMS. If I did not have this tracking, the only memory I would have of this weekend would be sleeping and sporadic work on whatever. I might not even remember that this is the weekend that I finalized all of the revisions on my thesis proposal, because in thesis work, only three dates are important: the dates of the two defenses and the deadline of the final approved thesis. The process would have been an entire blur. But having this tracking gives me a record of my process and how I was able to wrangle a few hours of thesis work while struggling with my sleep disorder. And that is helpful if you want to have a historical record of your sleep patterns and the number of hours it took you to actually revise your thesis proposal in preparation for the proposal defense. And that's what this tracking now is for. The rest is pretty straightforward. Here I write down what manuscript I have worked on for the day, creative manuscript, not the thesis. The thesis is academic work, so it doesn't go into this box. Here in this box, I write down what book I read or audiobook I listened to for the day, YouTube videos, TV shows, movies, podcasts, if any. Here is where I write down skincare done for the day, hair care done for the day, but this is really to track what I have used for the day, like if I use the purple shampoo, because you can't use that every day because it's drying. I also co-wash, which means wash hair with conditioner instead of shampoo, and I cannot do that every day either. So this one just makes it easy for me to see all that so I won't overdo them. And here I note down if I experienced any leg tiredness for the day. I'm due for a procedure on my legs this year, but my peripheral vascular doctor advised me to observe it first. I have already had two sclerotherapy treatments in the past, and sometimes the symptoms return, so a more aggressive procedure is needed. I also write down here if I wore my compression socks for the day. Here are my stats for weight, if I swam any laps in a pool, if I did some brisk walking, and the number of steps recorded on my health app. This here is where I write down the summary of my statistics from my YouTube channel. I know that's all recorded on the YouTube Creator Studio app on my phone and on my account as well, but it's nice to have it here. This is where I record my episodes of anxiety or panic, if it was severe or moderate, and what the trigger was. Here is where I write down any other medical symptoms that I had, like a headache or a cold, or if I take any medication that's not on my usual daily medications. Here is more health tracking for blood pressure, blood oxygen levels, heart rate, and temperature. The blood oxygen and temperature didn't used to be here, but they're here now because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Then I just have here the daily stats on my car. It's not a new car, but it's not old either. This would be handy when I need historical documentation to figure out if my car is still okay when it comes to fuel consumption. I write down here the odometer reading at the start of the day and at the end of the day, the kilometers traveled, and the number of gas bars I have at the end of the day, and how much I gassed up, if any. Here is my checklist for my daily maintenance medication and other supplements, and this is the checklist for my hormones tracking and my cycle and general mood as related to hormones and perimenopause and things like that. So that is all of the things that I track here on the left page. Over on the right is where the planning happens, and I have different boxes in here as well, and each box contains a different aspect of my life. This box here with a notebook icon is for my notebook making business, although I admit I'm not sure what I want to do with it for now because I currently have no time and energy to take care of it. And well, but the box is there nevertheless. This here with the icon that looks like me is for my personal tasks. Here is the box for planning things and tasks for my YouTube channel. This is the box for tasks related to my university. Here, I put the tasks for Jawide, or things Jawide has to do that I have to remind him of because he never lists anything down. Here are the tasks for the house and tasks related to family members. Over here is the only box for tracking, but it's only because I have no more space for this on the left page. This is just where I write down the things that I spent for the day and also some incoming money. One important element that I have on the right page are these side reminder tabs. I have showed these before in one of my videos for the One Book July series for this year. I will link that video down below. And also, in an even older video, I have talked about the side reminder tabs. But very briefly, these side reminder tabs are here to remind me that there is something to be dealt with on a particular day that is outside of my usual normal routine. These are the things that need to be done that needs a separate preparation or extra effort, such as when I have to prepare a specific document or go out of the house because during the pandemic that needs preparation to make sure that I am not exposed to the COVID virus, or when I need to prepare a special amount of cash, or in the case of this week that we are on, I have medical related matters. These side reminder tabs have a black bar here just so I can see in one glance exactly what day it's on. Like, for instance, if I'm on the page for this particular day, I can see that I have these things to deal with in the future, but I also know that it's not on this day because there is no black bar that I can see. But when I flip to that day, there is a black bar on there, so I know that's on that day, and it's also written here. It's just an additional element to my planning system that makes it more easy for me to put in information and also easily process that information later on and execute it, which is it's just an additional reminder or alert. I always need that. That is always helpful for me. And all of these on the planning page here on the right page is pretty straightforward. I just write down tasks that I need to do as I find out that I have to do them, and then put in the side reminder tabs if I need them. There is really nothing fancy. But here I do have a sheet that is tipped into the edge of the right page for the Sunday spread. This is the sheet where I write down all of the tasks that I need to do for the week, but for which I am not sure yet exactly on what day I can or need to do them. As soon as I find out, I list them down on the page for the day itself. But for as long as I don't know yet, it will go here, just so I will be reminded that there is something that I have to do for the week. And these are often the tasks that are not urgent. As long as they are done within the week, I'm happy. So the planning is done on the daily pages, the weekly tip-in, and of course, I still cannot do away with the monthly pages. I have them here in a different section because I don't have to look at this every day or every week. I use the monthly pages just for forward planning. Because I keep only a month's worth of daily pages on my planner at any given time. So for the months for which I do not have the daily pages here yet, I plan on the monthly pages, as you can see here. I already have the daily pages for August, so I have here the monthly pages for September. For September, I already have some things marked. I still have the monthly pages for August, so I have to archive this soon. And by the way, I just made these monthly pages myself. I laid them out on the InDesign software, printed them on 100 GSM paper, and then cut them down to size, hole punched them, and then put them on the discs. And these are not printed back to back. I did that on purpose so that I can easily archive each month's pages as they are finished. If I printed them back to back, like if the September page was on the page of the August page right here, if they're back to back, I wouldn't be able to archive them by month. These blank pages can be utilized for some monthly reminders and notes, but for now I don't have anything on there. But in case I need them, the space is there. Okay, you have already seen my daily, weekly, and monthly pages for planning together with the side reminder tabs. I have something new now that is not in my 2 previous videos about how I plan. That is this fold out over here. It's really just a piece of cardstock that I cut down to size and hole punched and then folded accordion style. This is where I stick small sheets of paper that is either a temporary tracking for something Like for now, I am tracking my food intake because I have not been eating much and I don't eat regularly. I'm still not well, but I want to know what I ate and what time, just to see a comparison between what meals I actually eat more of more often. So that's what I can request to be prepared, things like that. It changes from week to week. I can never tell. But so far, this tracking here has been helpful. I also stick on this accordion sheet some notes for the day. Like here, I have a list of the talking points that I want to mention in this video about how I plan. I decided to have this additional thing on my planner because several days ago, I randomly rewatched one of my older videos called How My Planner Fits as Part of My Work Desk. I will link that video down below, but just to give you an idea, in that video I showed how I would stick some small pieces of paper right on the surface of my desk using washi tape to hold notes for the day, random information like phone numbers, some numerical values for design work that I am doing, file names to remember, things like that. Basically, just information that is heavily relevant to that day, not necessarily related to planning. It's not a task that should be done, it's additional information related to that day. Those pieces of paper are pasted on the surface of my desk right in front of me with washi tape below where my laptop is placed. Then at the end of the day, I would take these pieces of paper from my desk, hole punch them, and then put them on the planner right there on the pages for the day. And then on the next day at work, I would flip my planner to the current day and then start over by placing fresh pieces of paper on the surface of my desk using washi tape. I found that very efficient for me because no information is ever lost. In case I need to trace back something, I only need to remember what day that happened, then I flip to the daily pages for that day and the information is right there. And I would know what day it was by referring to old emails. I use emails heavily for work. I prefer emails over phone calls because then I would have a documentation of how the conversation went and what the conclusion was. And in case the other person insists on a phone call, I would still talk to them via phone call, but I will still email that person a confirmation of what we have agreed on in the phone call, to which he can reply, yes, this is correct, or no, there is a mistake here, I meant this or that, and then the correction is documented. Or they can easily ignore that email, in which case, if they do not contest the content of that email would hold. I think it's a good system that can prevent a lot of time consuming misunderstandings. Anyway, so that's why I can easily determine what day on my planner pages I need to refer back to when looking for a particular information. But now I don't work that way. Also, I'm working from home. Sometimes I don't stay at my desk. I bring my laptop and my planner to bed, so I don't have an actual work surface to tape my small notes onto. That's why I created this accordion cardstock. If I need to close my planner, I just fold this up, and when the day is done, I take the pieces of paper out, put them on the discs in the middle of the spread for the day, and I'm done. On the next day, I just flip to the planner pages for that and do the same thing. Sorry if you hear some banging. It's a very windy day and the window panes are, flapping in the wind. I fill in these pages, like the daily pages, the weekly tip-ins, and the monthly pages, with information as I go, as I find things out. I do not sit down with my planner every week to prep my pages or do weekly planning. I do not do weekly planning, unlike what I did when I was on the Bound A5 catch-all system, in which I had to literally create my pages every week. Here in this current system, the monthly pages are already here until January 2022 because I will be having one last class at my university starting September this year until January 2022. So most of the university details are already here, basing from the academic calendar that I that I accessed on the university website. As for the daily pages, I create them on a monthly basis. I print out the pages for the entire month, cut them down to size, punch the holes, put them on the discs, and then leave them be until I know more. And that's when I actually write anything on the daily pages or the weekly tip-ins. I don't have any planning routines or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward and it doesn't require much time and effort to plan the way that I do. And one last thing that is now in my how I plan video is that I now use just a pencil. No more fountain pens, no more Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens because I no longer use the Hyperdex. There are a few reasons for that. Number one, I now have brain fog and I keep making mistakes writing on my pages, even on the pages for tracking. I need to be able to erase. And I don't like using the friction pens because I live in a tropical country. It's very, very hot here every day, and I don't want to have to worry about things disappearing from my planner pages. Another reason is that I can no longer bring a million different pens with me every day at my desk, in bed, or on the rare occasions when I do go out of the house. It's just not convenient for me anymore because of my broken right wrist. So I cannot use the Hyperdex, and so again I use a pencil. And it's nice not to have to refer to a color key when filling up my pages and when referring back to old planner archives. All information I need are easily understandable upfront, and I don't need to decode it, so to speak. And so I just use one pencil for everything. The pencil I'm using for everything is the Tombow Monograph Zero mechanical pencil. I have it in the silver and it's 0.5. I have a few things that I love about this pencil. Number one, the grip is made of a knurled metal. It's not rubber or silicone that can discolor over time or even tear or flake off. This is actually metal, which makes the pencil heavy at the bottom, which makes it more stable in my hand. The barrel itself is plastic, so it's light, but that's okay because the top part will be lighter and the bottom will be heavier. It will not topple over when I'm holding it. Another thing that I like about this is that it has a retractable eraser that is refillable. The refills for this also fits the eraser pen, the round one. I have here the rectangular one. I have a review of this on my channel and I will link it down below. But this also comes in a round version and the refills for that one is the same refills for this pencil. The refills are just a little long for this pencil, so they need to be cut shorter, but that's alright. You can put in the excess here as well. Nothing is wasted. So having this eraser here that I can actually use and not worry about using up now allows me to carry just one writing implement with me. I don't need a separate eraser pen. Although when I am at home at my desk, I still use the eraser pen. But for on the go, I use this eraser on the pencil. And before I forget, the lead that I use is the 4B. I have here the Pentel Einstein and I also have the Uni. All of these are 4B. These are much softer and draw a darker line and it is much easier on my broken hand. And all of these work for now with this entire system of daily pages, side reminder tabs, a weekly tip-in, and monthly pages. The tracking boxes, the page for planning, the place to stick small pieces of paper containing information, and the pencil with the retractable eraser. All of these are the components of my planning system and, well, this is how I plan. And that is my video for you today. Thanks so much for staying until the very end. This is the 6th video in my series for One Book July 2021. I still have at least one more video lined up, which will be the results of my field test of this planner and a final setup and flip through, and maybe a couple of tutorials for some of the things that I put together in this planner, some things that I DIY'd. Please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you can get some form of alert when that video is up. We're already on the final week of July and by now people are already concluding their One Book July projects. Please let me know in the comments how you're doing with your One Book July project. I really would like to know. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!